morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are the world. We are the world. Remember that one? We are the world. Yeah, we are the world. Welcome, welcome to the month of September. September, the month to remember. September. Man, we are the world. Aren't we? We're from all the world, and we are the world. We are the world. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to September the 1st. Yes, the last quarter of the year. Welcome, 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 and welcome, and welcome, and welcome, and welcome. Well, let's see here. Miss Eileen in San Diego, I see you. You're beautiful. You always look great. Thank you for being on the call. Miss Konohara over in Japan. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Miss Belinda Batiste, I love that pink on you. Hey, I like the earrings too, young lady. Look at you. Hey. Miss Caroline Baker, part of the Baker organization. Thank you for joining us. Miss Celia down in Woodside, California. Thank you. Miss Christina, thank you so much. Mr. Daryl Ranson up in Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you, sir. Frank and Patricia Bowman. Man, they're a great, beautiful couple out there in Elk Grove, California. Been in their house, and man, they eat really healthy and drink healthy. Miss Joyce Brewers, good seeing you as always, dear. Mr. Carter, I see you at your desk there in San Diego. Got his watch to match his shirt. Look at that guy. Man, I love it. Mr. Candy Eppley, good seeing you again, young lady. Kathleen Williams, thank you so much. Miss Kimberly Garcia, que paso? Mr. Lance Wittenberg out there, Mr. Kelly, thank you so much. Mr. Payon over in Japan, good morning, sir. Good morning, good morning. Miss Jones out there in South Carolina, you are amazing. Thank you for being on the call. Oh, there you go. And we also like to thank Miss Castro down in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you, dear. You're an amazing leader. Miss Marie, thank you so much. Mr. Marvin Carter, Regional Director in Fresno, thank you. Miss Melissa Vaughn, good morning, dear. Good seeing you as always. Mr. Michael Jenkins, thank you so much. Mr. Wright, thank you so much. Natalie in Vegas. TJ out in Ohio. Miss Tracy Gilmore, thank you for joining. Tracy Gilmore, part of the Baker organization. And Mr. Brian Baker, Regional Director out here in Las Vegas, Nevada, thank you so much. Mr. Winston Herbert, thank you so much. Ms. Zoe Duffy, part of the Baker organization, thank you. And Mr. Chris McDowell, thank you so much. And a lot of you folks, if I did not mention your name, excuse me, I just got the ones who get on it early. Remember, early is on time, and on time is what? Late, and late is never. There you go, heard of. Hey, before we get our guest speaker on for the first day of the first month of September, a couple of announcements I want to make to you real quickly. You know, here's a great exposure, and I want to thank Ms. Ismail for bringing this to our attention. If people have questions, invite them on to the 9 o'clock Zoom call. If they need a second or third exposure, invite them back on the call so they can see the organization. They can see what we're doing here. So it's a great exposure if you've done a one-on-one or two-on-one out there, Mr. Carter. Get them on these calls and let them see how big we are internationally. Like, wow, I didn't realize they said that. Man, these people you're working with, they'll sign up faster. So do that. Also, we like to show the date coming up September 12th. We'll make sure everybody's available to Mr. Can you post that real quick before we get Mr. Lewis up here? We want to post, this is an important date, write it down, take a shot of it. But every one of you need to be on the leadership Zoom call for new ETLs. Oh, Miss Giles and Bristol, Regional Vice President Platinum has just joined us. Thank you, dear. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. So leadership training on the 12th, Saturday, from 12 to 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So what time would that be for us out here? I want you guys to figure it out because look, you're going to grow an international business like I've done it. So I'm in all different type of time zones. Like I said 2 weeks ago, 10 days ago, I was in 3 countries. That's right. Listen to me. 3 countries, 3 different countries, 5 states in the United States, home for dinner, and I never left home. That is the power. That is the power. That is the power. That is the power. That is the power of these Zoom calls. So get people on these Zoom calls. All right. Now, not only that, take a date, take a snapshot, but put it in your calendar on September the 12th. September the 12th. September the 12th. And before we get going, Mr. Lewis is going to be our guest speaker. He's going to go over the bonus for the September before he gets into his talk today. But let me introduce this young man, and he's going to go over the bonus, and then he's going to go into his subject matter for the day. All right. And then don't forget, tonight at 6 o'clock, right back here, bring guests. I will be doing the 1 through 10. That's right. I will be doing the 1 through 10, so get guests back on here. And even though you're an IBO, you get on here and watch how I do it. And guess what? You start duplicating what you learn. Does that make sense? Monkey see, monkey do. Anyway, all right. This young man who's going to kick off our month of September, he's no stranger to our calls. The first time I met him, he was at his mentor's penthouse in San Diego. A gentleman who I mentored had mentored him, and he was there in the penthouse the first time I met him. I told his mentor, I said, you got to watch this young man. He's very special. I told him that a long time ago. He's very special. He's a stay-home father with his beautiful daughter. She's got great grades, all A's. He's a very strong, gifted leader in San Diego. It's one of the strongest organizations in Southern California. He has the fastest growing team in San Diego. Now that he's got a lot of great information he brings on the call. We love him to death. His daughter, I think, is 14 and a half. She's going to go into high school. As a matter of fact, he told me a story about it. I'm not going to steal the thunder. Maybe I'll tell y'all. But without further ado, and he's going to go into the bonus before he goes to this message, the one and only regional director, Mr. Julian Lewis. Give him a hand, everybody. Give him a hand. Come on, September. There we go. Start off. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing fine. His frog hair split 5 ways in sandpaper. I'm doing fine.
Man, we should do a challenge on trivia on Friday to see if someone can say that like 3 times fast.
We can do that.
But it's great to see you always, and everyone on the call. I just have to let you know how grateful I am to have Mr. Thomas as a mentor, and to be able to plug into what he's doing on a regular basis. We're blessed, and I just want to share, because as a regional director, been in the business for a while, I get asked to plug into a few things here and there to help and support. And I'm telling you, when it comes to having success, when it comes to results, when it comes to energy and just and humility and and just being genuinely humble, I have never seen anyone doing what Mr. Thomas is doing at the level that he does it naturally. And so we're blessed. And some of you that get to work with him every single day, don't take it for granted. I sure don't. I love you, man. I appreciate everything you do as a father, the advice that you give me as a father and as a mentor, and just as a human being. So thank you so much for everything that you do.
You're welcome.
Okay. And so I couldn't wait to get on this call. There's so many things that are happening. And we're going to talk about the September bonus. Before we do that, though, I just want to give you a heads up with the September 12th event. They just posted today that anyone new in your business has until the 10th. You have to qualify by the 10th to be able to be there on the 12th. So you have to qualify by the 10th to be there on the 12th. That means we have more than enough time to help as many people as we can get qualified for the first ETL leadership done virtually. These are special times. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And let's get right into the bonus, because this is exciting. This bonus is going to help you and help your team get people squared away so that they can get to the executive team leader event. Because anyone that has a start date in the month of September, new IBOs that go out there with between September 1st and 30th, as long as they have a start date this month, they can earn an additional $300 bonus just for going out and gathering their first 5 services totaling 10 points and helping their team to gather 30 customer points. So not only do they make a their $200 bonus, but they actually make a profit within their first 30 days. And the reason why this is so exciting is because it's in alignment with executive team leader. 30 points is ETL. So if you had just a laser focus on anyone that joins your team, helping them to get to 30 points between them, a few customers between them and their team, they're going to be able to do that. And my mission as a leader, and I'm sharing this with you because every single one of you are leaders. All of the leaders, I know Mrs. Jocelyn Driscoll, she can tell you the exact same thing. Her entire focus is on helping anyone that get to executive team leader by the 10th. so that they can be a part of that. They can make the $300 bonus, be in profit, and be in a position to get poured into by the co-founders of the company. So this is an alignment month that's going to set up so many things. And we're going to be talking about that over the next few weeks on how to think like a leader, how to go from blueprint to success, because ACN has supplied the blueprint. ACN has already laid it out. There's already a track to run on. All you have to do is run. And if you can follow the blueprint, you'll be able to get the same results as the people before you. So let's get into the training, guys. Oh, you screenshot that. You can take that down. My excitement comes with sharing with you something that I don't think any of you have really talked about yet. And so, yes, there is a Vivid promotion as well. I appreciate that, Natasha. We'll be talking about that. But I just want to let you know that when it comes to ACN, I never knew I could do network marketing. And I want to start with that, just because a lot of times people see leaders and they see them, wow, and they think, oh my gosh, Mr. Thomas, he was born for network marketing. And I've heard people say that. I know. But I've heard it, and I've heard people say, oh my gosh, look at these leaders. Mr. James Adlam was born for network marketing. And then all these people that say that, and what I've realized, whether it's sports or whether it's anything else, work ethic beats talent when talent doesn't work. So I want you to write that down. Work ethic beats talent when talent doesn't work. So I never knew I was going to be a part of network marketing. I never thought of network marketing as something for me. I was taught to go to school, get good grades, go to college, and get a degree. Every single one of you have heard that before. That was big. My parents, to give you just a brief background on myself, my parents were born and raised in Brooklyn. Bed-Stuy. If you guys know where Bedford-Stuyvesant is, Bed-Stuy. My dad went from Red Hook, which was a rough neighborhood, to Bed-Stuy, which is known for the notorious. Anytime you hear a neighborhood that is described as notorious, it's not good. Okay, so my mom was from the notorious Marcy projects. My dad grew up in the Tompkins projects right next door. And a lot of times the kids that grew up in both dated. And my parents met each other in school. They got married, but they had a perspective. And I've shared this because this is important. My parents had a perspective. They had family members. A lot of blacks moved up to the cities to get work because it was more progressive than the South. The grandparents, great-grandparents, I know Mr. Thomas, you know what I'm talking about, they still lived in the South. So they would send their kids during the summertime to the grandparents' house. So my parents went down there, South Carolina, North Carolina. They got perspective. Here's what they saw. They saw people that looked just like them, owning homes, owning businesses, having their own cars, being in beautiful communities, and then they would go back to Brooklyn. They would go back to the projects, and it gave them perspective to know that they wanted to get out. Here's what you need: perspective. What Mr. Thomas gives us from plugging in different leaders is the same type of perspective that my parents got being able to go to in a different environment and come back and see theirs. So it's important to plug into some type of thing that can give you perspective. That gave them a mission to get out of the projects. They did it through school. So college, my father became a doctor of dentistry. My mother has a master's degree in counseling. That propelled them out of that environment into a different environment to give to their children, myself and my brother, Brian Lewis. And so we have a responsibility to stand on their shoulders and become giants. They gave us a way of looking, and we needed a different perspective. I saw my father as a doctor of dentistry, 30 years service, retired in Navy, high-ranking officer. And I saw my mom still having to work when she didn't want to. And it didn't sit right with me. So even though I was going through the motions of school, there comes a time where you start to wake up. Someone handed me a book when I was 19. It was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. While I was in college, it messed me up. I realized in college that my dad, who I loved, he might have been the poor dad. And I realized that even though I was going through college, I felt like I was sealing the deal for my fate to be normal. And I didn't want a normal life, but I did it because I respected my parents. And then here's what happened. My daughter, my fiance, and I found out we were going to have a baby. By that time, I was already working at my job. I was making great money. I was making a 6-figure income. My parents were proud of me. Everyone was proud of me. But I felt empty inside. Something, and I know, listen, I know all of you know what I'm talking about. Something inside of me was saying, this isn't right. And I would go to work and I would hear the conversations and they were always the same. I started thinking that people, I know this is going to sound crazy. I started thinking like, are people robots? Like you can say something and it will prompt them or prime them to have the same response. Like we say, hey, how's it going? And people would say, oh, I'm hanging in there. And I'm like, what does that mean? Like I would picture someone hanging on the cliff. Like, are you about to fall off? Or, hey, how's it going? Oh, not too bad. Oh, it's not too bad. That means it's bad, but it's just not too. So I started to realize most people were negative and negative was normal. And it became popular around the people that I was around. And it kind of started to get me stuck in a box. And I realized something when my daughter was about to be born. If I didn't break out, I was going to grow up and my daughter was going to have the same inconsistencies, the same hollow feelings if I didn't do something right now. And that blessing came through ACN. And ACN even impacted some of the things with my father. And I'm telling you this because we all have family, we all have loved ones, we all have people that care about us. And my father retired at his first retirement. My daughter was 6 months old. That's when I came home, Mr. Thomas. And here's, my brother has a picture in the newspaper because my father was a pretty big deal in the Navy. And they did this big spread and you see me holding my little baby girl. My father retired and I walked away from my job. My dad decided to do a second government. And trust me, this is all gonna tie in. His second government, he worked as a dentist for Donovan State Prison. And it was cool because he had a cool little schedule. He was in early, he was out. And the reason why he did it is because he said that his wife, my stepmom, was forcing him to do work around the house for free. He wasn't getting paid for it. And he said, if I'm gonna do this, I'm going back to work. At least I'll get a second retirement. So he did that. He was tired of the honeydew lists. So 10 years of work, mind you, fast forward to a lot. 10 years later, he's about to retire. He's excited. He's about to retire. You know, he's 65, going on 66 years old. Pretty young, 2 retirements, top of the world. He does a fast. Miles McPherson with the Rock Church in San Diego every year do a fast. And so my father's doing the fast and he's used to it. He loses weight, gains weight back. This year, he lost the weight and the weight wouldn't come back. And he kept losing and kept losing. And so he went to the doctor, and this is a week before his retirement. And the doctor called him. He went in on a Thursday. The doctor called him on a Saturday and said, you need to come in on Monday. And they found out he had pancreatic cancer, okay? I sat at the kitchenette in my dad's beautiful home in Rolling Hills Ranch in southern San Diego. And he was in tears because he said he doesn't think he should have done that 10-year stint. He said, my grandbaby is 10 years old. She was 6 months old. There's so many things that I want to do with her, and I'm going to fight this thing. And so I was crying, he was crying, and I said, Dad, you're the strongest person I know. If anyone can fight it, let's do it. And so that was his mission, because he wanted to take my daughter to Hawaii. Because my brother and I, we grew up there. My brother was born there, and it was wild. And he wanted to take her there. And plus my stepmom, her grandkids, he was so upset. They wanted to go, but none of them knew how to swim. He didn't understand that. My daughter knows how to swim. He wanted to do that. So 67 years old, he has a birthday, and turning 67, fighting cancer, it felt like a going away party. And he told had everyone there he loved. And he said how much he loved everyone individually. And I was angry at my dad because it felt like he was going away. And September 29th, so this is that window of time for me, September 29th, there was a Saturday training. He took his last breath. And he waited till he saw my daughter first. And my daughter and him had a special connection. And she draws, and she brought a drawing, and she showed it to me, and I was uncomfortable because I knew that connection. She drew him and her when she was little, holding hands, looking over the hill at a sunset. And it made me nervous. And I'm telling you guys this because here it is, this man that I know and he's gone. And he was young. He just turned 67. And I'm telling you this because we take for granted the minutes and the seconds and the moments in our lives. And one thing, the reason why I'm telling you this is we're starting out with time. Time is precious. Time is so precious. And I miss him every day. Like I still have on my watch, because it would tell me, it would alert me times in my schedule, just empty times in my schedule. And it would say, call dad. So my dad was retired. And then when he was going through, I would go with him to chemo, things like that. I would call him and we would talk. Even before he was sick, I would talk. I would ask him every question under the sun. And he was so great. And I know he's looking over me and my family. But here's what I want to ask you. Why would you wait until it's too late? Here's what I mean. My dad took the only route that he knew to handle his finances. And that was noble. That was noble. But in the system, people say the system's broken. It's not broken. It works perfectly. In the system, it takes a human being's entire lifespan to fix their finances. Which means if you spend your whole lifespan fixing your finances, then you have a fraction of your time to live your life. I need you to understand this. Because a lot of times people look at ACN as a business. It's not a business. It's a means to fix your finances so that you can do that in a short period of time and have more time to live your life and give back, because it's residual. See, we have residual bills. Your bills come in every single month, whether you work or not. And it sounds insane to have a job that doesn't do the exact same thing. Now, Mr. Thomas taught me this when I was brand new. It was a position called ETT. It doesn't even exist anymore. I was brand new, and here's what he said. He said, if you work for money, money is a horrible master. If you work for money, you will be a slave to it your entire life. I'll never forget him saying this. But then he said, but if you find a way to have money work for you, it's tireless. And you'll be able to do what you want with your life. That's what he's been able to do. That's what ACN does for us. It's not about phones. It's not about internet. I promise you, you asked me about the rates, like they were about to, I get it. Vivid was about to go up. You asked me about the rates. I don't know about the rates. What I do know is where to access and get the resources so that I do know how to create value for what we're doing, because of how powerful it is to get value on it. But I don't have all the rates memorized. We have YouTube videos for that. But what I do know is this. If you can make the residual you make from ACN, and you take this residual here, and you introduce it to your residual bills, and you let them get married, you can separate yourself from that insane loop, and you can go off and live your life. So that's what I need to talk to you guys about right now, because we need to set up a foundation of why. Why ACN? Why not anything else? Because I had a talk with a very intelligent man yesterday, and we're talking about how he had a business. He had made big money, and then the money went away. And I said, and he started talking about, I said, and it was, he said, he found out the leadership was shady. And I said, there's two problems. Number one, leadership needs to be right at the top. We have Mr. Thomas. Above him, we have 4 co-founders. I need you to know this. 4 co-founders that have been together since day one. For 27 years, 4 men have been in business together. That is unheard of. There are marriages with 2 people that don't last for over 25 years. I really need that to sink in. So the leadership, not only that, they've built businesses. They can have a conversation with Mr. Thomas because they've built to the top positions in the company, so they can have the same conversation. It's not like they don't understand. They've already built it from the ground up the same way you and I are building it, so they appreciate the grind and the personal development and everything we have to go through. So the leadership is there. Then what else you have? The services. Oh my goodness. You have services that are essential, and people know that more now than ever because we're in a pandemic and everyone is only able to work at home because of one of the services or 2 of the services that we offer: internet and gas and electricity. Without those services, if we didn't have those, the country would be in a dark age. Companies are afloat because their employees are at home working. We're able to plug into Zoom on a platform that allow us to use technology, and we get paid every month on the bills that keep our country running during a pandemic. That's powerful. Then you have a compensation plan. The ability to make 20% on anything doesn't exist in most businesses. You have the opportunity to do great things attached to necessities that are not impacted by the economy, a pandemic, or any of the things that can swing or affect other businesses. See, the landscape is changing. I sent Mr. Thomas an article about how Amazon just got approved for their drones to ship out the boxes. This is like a sci-fi movie. They just got approval for the government to utilize drones to drop your stuff off. If last time I checked, a drone means that it's not a person driving a car that needs to get paid anymore. So just like Mr. Thomas said, automation is taking our jobs, and it's taking our jobs in a completely different way now, which is going to add more profits for Amazon, but it's going to be more problems for employees. So what does that mean? We have resources, human resources. We have the ability, 330 million people that are shuffling right now. They're not standing still. They're looking everywhere, evaluating and reevaluating their situation. Everything is lined up. Didn't I tell you this month is about alignment? You have the training that's coming up on the 12th. You have the first ever virtual international training on the 26th. It's called the Level Up event. And I'm just talking to you like leaders. Here's what a leader's doing. Here's what Mr. Chris King and his wife are doing. Here's what Mr. Thomas is doing. They're making sure everyone they know is promoted and in attendance on the 12th, because they know the information that's going to be in that coach's clinic Instead of having, if you play basketball, if you have a high school coaches clinic, that's awesome. Best high school coaches in the county. Or you can have a NBA coaches clinic that you're invited to where Phil Jackson and his friends are teaching. That's going to be one of those coaches clinic. And the leaders in your team are going to get what they need to be able to build a massive group to take into the international training event that's happening on the 26th, lining up with something special in October for regional directors who promote. This is going to be a blowout year going into 2021. And with everything that Mr. Thomas has shared that's coming up in our world in 2021, that puts us in a special place to win big if you're not afraid to work. And I want to talk to you guys about opinions. You got to be very careful whose opinion you choose. See, especially when you're talking about money, because opinions are like piggy banks. See, when someone doesn't have a little bit of money, guess what happens? If you put that in a piggy bank and you shake it, people are like piggy banks. If you shake it, what happens? It makes a lot of noise. But people that have money taken care of, if you have a lot of money in that piggy bank and you shake it, guess what? It doesn't make a sound. Same with people with opinions. Those that don't have a lot in their piggy bank, they make a lot of noise. Those that have their piggy bank full, they don't make a sound. And guess what? Wealthy people don't give opinions freely unless you're blessed to be mentored by them. Wealthy people only give their opinions in the form of consulting, which means you have to pay for it. And we are blessed to be a part of an organization where we have wealthy giving us the opinions through experience and wisdom to allow us to not have to bump our heads and get there even faster. And so today it was more of an intro to what we're going to be talking about, because I'm going to hit you guys hard. I'm going to hit you guys hard over the next few weeks, but it's out of love. My team will tell you, I will hit you and hug you. I'll hit you hard and then hug you and say it's okay. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that all throughout this month. And what I want to leave you with is just thinking about who you are. And I'm a firm believer in God. And, you know, it's interesting in network marketing, we talk about the parable of the talents, all day long. And I'm going to touch on that deeply next week. But I found it ironic that the actor who played Black Panther, Mr. Boseman, who just passed away, in a speech, he talked about when he met God, he wanted to make sure that he had no talents left, that he gave it all away. And a lot of people didn't understand that. And he went to work. And and if you know the parable, the person who had the one talent who buried it, when the master came back, he took his talent from him and gave it to the one who had the most, because he wasn't using it. See, why didn't he use it? Because he was afraid. He lived in scarcity because he had one. Instead of doing something with it, he played it safe. I'm an amateur on the Bible, but you know what I found? There's nowhere in the Bible where it says to play it safe. In the Bible, it says to have faith. It says worry is not for us. And for those of you that are playing it safe, here's what playing it safe looks like in ACN. I'm afraid of what this person might say. I'm afraid to contact this person. What would they think of me if they find out I'm doing this? What would they think? And what's interesting to me is the same people that say they believe in God, go to church every single day, say they do all these things, are the same people that say that they're afraid. So I'm confused. See, imagine this. Imagine, guys, and this is gonna mess you up. And look, I'm not here to preach. I was cracking up on the leadership. Mr. Thomas said he's gonna contact the pastor so that he can preach on Sunday. And I'm not here to preach this morning, but I do want to share something with you. You know, oftentimes as a Christian, I would hear other Christians question, and they would say, hey, if God is all knowing, why is there a devil? Have you ever heard that before? And, you know, as a kid, I used to think about that, and it used to drive me crazy. And I would say, because someone posed it to me, and I say, yeah, that's a good question. And I realized something. You can see why in everything in life. And this is, like I said, this is going to mess you up. See, imagine you, and do me a favor, please participate. Don't be too cool for school. Please participate in this. Even if you look funny, doesn't matter. It's just me and you. All right, this is family. So I need you to close your eyes. Don't be too cool. Please, please, you're gonna get a lot out of this. I need you to close your eyes. And after this, I'm gonna be done. So please participate with me. I need you to imagine that you're standing in front of a huge building, and that huge building has signage. Right above it, it's a massive sign, but it's covered. And you see balloons and streamers all around, and it looks like there's going to be a grand opening of a huge building. And you're looking up at this, and you're looking at the huge glass doors, and you look up at the building and the signage, and then you're so in awe by this building that you don't realize there's a man standing right there in front of you. And so you look down at the man, and he's tall, he's looking down at you, you're looking up at him. And you notice that he has a shirt on, he's dressed in gym clothes, and on his shirt, you see the word God Trainer. And you're like, that's odd, God Trainer, he must be one of the best, right? And so he starts to talk to you, and he says, no, I am God, and I'm here to train you in this gym. And he asked the person to pull down the covering on the signage, and it says your name. It says Belinda's gym. It says Joyce's gym. It says Chris's gym, Casey's gym. It's your gym. And God says, I'm your trainer, and I designed this gym specifically for you. Every single workout station in that gym has been designed with you and only you in mind. And it will create you, it will build you up to the highest potential that I designed you to be. And you get excited. And you get excited like, wow, this is crazy. How did I luck out? And so he says, it's time to go to work. And the double doors, the glass doors slide open, and you go into the gym, and you walk over to the first station, and the first station says, your father dying and you having to deal with the grief. And you're like, what is this? And you're like, I'm not doing that. And then you go over to the next station, and it says, your uncle passing away 6 months before. And you're like, what? Is this a sick joke? And then you go over to the next station, and it says, challenges of being a parent with a teenager. And you're like, this is not fun. This is some type of joke. And you go outside and you look at the God Trainer and you say, what are you trying to do? This is a joke. And he said, no, it isn't. He said, see, what most people see as evil, or what most people call the devil, is just resistance. And in every aspect of what you call life that I created for you, I've placed resistance to build you up. And if you attack those challenges every single day with faith, you will develop the mental, spiritual, and physical muscle you need
to become the person I designed you to be, to bless others while you're on this planet. Now I need you guys to open your eyes. See, and that's what the devil is resistance. See, if you take a look at everything in this world, whether it's making a sword, the way you make the strongest sword is by forging in that fire, beating it up over and over again, taking it out, beating it up over and over again. The way you create diamonds is through pressure. What is pressure? Resistance. See, the way you build muscles is through what? Resistance. And lastly, don't be afraid of failure. It is resistance. See, we don't like failure because the school system turned an F is associated with failure. But true failure is just practice. Write this down. Practice is controlled failure. And so when you meet those challenges head on, you're meeting with resistance. And you want to be excited because pushing against that resistance will build you up. And that's why ACN matters, because you're able to reach it in every aspect of your life and come out a different human being who will attract greatness into yours and show others that they can be great along with you. So guys, that's it for today. Mr. Thomas, I appreciate you for allowing me to share. I hope you guys got some value out of that. Go into the whatever it is. Stop being afraid of it. Go into it, because that's how you become who you need to be to go out there and make it happen. Let's get more people on that September 12th by stop being afraid, stop worrying, and getting into the work. Mr. Thomas, I pass it back to you, sir.
Lord have mercy. Man. Woo! I don't know about you guys. I got warm over here with that one. That was just, man, that was so much wealth, wisdom, and experience coming at you with amazement. And that little black book say, don't just be hearers of the words, but start be what? Doers of what you heard today. A doer. Wow. Let that, I'm just going to just take about 10 to 15 seconds and let's not say nothing. Let that just sink in. That building in front of you with your name on it. Mm. Wow. Can we give Mr. Julian Lewis a hand? Come on, come on. Wow. Wow. Sir, thank you. Let that sink in for a few more seconds. Let that just sink into your subconscious, your spirit, your inner spirit. Wow. Tonight, 6:00 p.m. Pacific Coast time, I want all the serious people to get at least one person on this call to expose them to ACN. The stars, you get 2 people on tonight at 6:00 p.m. Pacific Coast time. Leaders, 3 people tonight, 6:00 p.m. Pacific Coast time. And let this message or word permeate through you all day today. Thank you for all the comments. But let me share this, and I'm sure Mr. Lewis agreed. The big payoff is what you do with it. And we can tell through your results. And how's that? Through the customers, through the IBOs, and the referrals that you get. And the fourth would be, how many people would you get qualified to be on September the 12th? That's how we tell the results. We'll see everybody tonight at 6. God bless.